Ever wonder how game worlds are created on Roblox? Terrain and model design are important skills you'll want to have when making your own game worlds. Let's shape a landscape to learn the basics of the terrain editor. Hello everyone, it's Luis from LogoLife bringing you a series dedicated to Roblox game development. In this video, we'll be going over modeling terrain in Roblox Studio. We'll use the terrain editor to shape our landscape, so let's get started. Alright, so here we are back at Roblox Studio. Let's go ahead and open up a base plate. We'll make a simple landscape, maybe a lake and a few mountains. Build a little house, and through that we'll learn the basics about terrain and modeling. So here we go. First thing we'll want to do is make sure that you can see the terrain editor. Okay, so if you can't see it, the button's right here at the top. We'll go to edit. We're going to add some terrain. In the middle of the screen under the brush settings, you'll see the plane lock. Let's go ahead and put that to manual. Now let's edit the plane. By default, the plane is set a little bit above the spawn point where players appear in the beginning. We'll go ahead and set this to be right below that spawn. So it's about there. Go ahead, apply. Now you'll see there are 3 different brush settings that you can use to add terrain. So I'm gonna go with the cube, and I'm gonna make it as big as I can. Now it's really tall, so perhaps I'll lower the height. If you want to change the base size and the height separately, you just click on the lock here to unlock it, and then I'll just reduce it slightly here. Make a square, boom, and we'll do everything within this area. Now I'd like to have a kind of like a small lake here, so I will go ahead and subtract some terrain from what we just did. Now let's put the plane lock back on auto, because now all my brushes are sticking only to that one plane, and now we'd like to start modeling on top of the terrain that we've just created. So we'll set it to auto. Now you see the brush appear on top of the terrain, and I just want to kind of dig a hole here where I want the lake to be. So let's go ahead with the left click. You can see it kind of starts shaping up into what's going to be a nice little pond here. I think that should be about right. Okay, and now to add the water, we go back to add, and then here in the material settings, we can select water. We can make the base size a lot smaller, maybe enough just to cover up whatever the water is that we need. So the size seems like that should be about right. And then we just left click. Wow, I put it too high. So maybe reduce the base height here a little bit. There we go. Nice. So with that, we've got ourselves a small little lake. Going inside, it's got all the water. That's how you add some basic grass and some water to your world. There are other things we can do. So we already used the add to create the original grass. Then we subtracted to make the hole for the lake. We added some water to the lake, and we actually also have the grow. This can help us make little hills and mountains. So with the left click and I hold, the longer I hold, it grows more and more and more. So make a small hill here. Maybe put a bit more on the back. It's really cool how this tool works, so I really encourage you guys to play around with this stuff a lot. Really nice. We have a small little hill here. Now you see that it was a gradual increase in the terrain. So if you want to gradually decrease the terrain, you go for the erode instead. So you can just erode the terrain here. We can make like a little valley possible. It's basically just the opposite. And if you happen to have some really sharp edges, you can use the smooth brush to kind of just smooth it out. Flatten does exactly what you would think it would do. Tries to make all the terrain the same height. Okay, so just giving you a demonstration there. And it's nice to play with all the different tools because in nature, things are not exactly symmetrical. So if you make things a bit different, it really helps. You can also paint terrain, and this is like if you don't want to change the shape, but you just want to add a different material. So maybe I want to have like a dirt path here. Then I can just choose maybe mud. Let's try mud. Make it muddy here. There we go. We have a little bit of like a muddy section there in our world. So those are the basics of the terrain modeling. In the previous video, we showed about how to use the community tools to also add things to the world. So this is a great time to maybe we could add like a tree on top of the hill, make it a bit more interesting. So I just go to Toolbox and make sure you're in the marketplace. I'm just gonna type tree, and there's a bunch of stuff that's gonna come up. So I'll pick one that I like, maybe this one. And then we'll move it around. If you're not sure about this movement and scaling and all that, we covered that in the first video. So I recommend you guys watch that. And you'll notice that the tree is anchored by default, so that's already pretty cool. The tree won't be going anywhere, so we got a little tree on top of the hill. So there we have it. Our basic landscape is done. Keep an eye out for upcoming workshops on our website and join the Discord to get involved in our community. We love hearing your game ideas and suggestions. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for part 2 to learn about modeling. We're going to add a house to our game world and pick up some useful techniques along the way. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to be notified when we post new videos. We'll see you on the next one. Oh, yeah!